What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Tracks High coming to you live this very special edition on Sunday night, and I got Bobby in the building from Chicago Bears Central. How you doing, Bobby?
What's up, man? I'm doing all right. Happy to be here. Love the intro, by the way. Super fire. Let's go.
Thank you, man. We've been working on it. But hey, man, let's get into it, man. I was really excited to have you on board because what you guys are doing over there is magnificent. If you guys get a chance, look at Bobby and Hayes on Chicago Bears Central and C Dub over there too. Man, check out what they got going. Can you tell them really quick when you guys are on and everything, what your schedule looks like?
We on about every single day. The main man Hayes, he's gonna drop daily episodes every single day. And then depending on the Bulls schedule, because we cover the Chicago Bulls, you get
Yep.
me, Hayes, and C Dub on a couple times a week. All three of us, and then we're definitely on Sundays around 12 or 1 Eastern, whatever time permits. But hey, that's when you can check us out.
I like that once show you had the other day where you were breaking down. I think you got a text like real early in the morning because you guys got Waldron. And
Yeah.
you were like, wait, like taking the sleep out of your eyes, be like,
Right.
what's Hayes doing? What's going on?
Man, if that's one of the people that I know that's gonna be up and working, that's one of the guys. He keep us motivated to keep going, and hey, we love that, especially when you're trying to build a good community. No matter what platform you own or what channel you're representing, as long as we
Yep.
can go ahead and work together and represent the Chicago Bulls and the Bears, the Sox, the Cubs, whatever. It's always great to work and network with people like that.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, anybody, especially a guy like me, can appreciate those House hours you guys keep, man. You know?
I know, right? Good Waffle House.
Yes. Hey, so real quick, let's get into it, man. We were all excited about the Underwear Olympics. We're looking at the 2024 NFL Scouting Combine. I mean, it came and gone. It was exciting 4 days of action. Saw a lot of people, a lot of energy, a lot of stuff going on. Records were broken. Household names were made.
Man,
Several prospects made themselves money by how they performed down in Indy. I mean, they just looked at the workouts included and had some of the best. You know, we saw that 4-2-1. Dude took his shoes off. He said, "Nah, man, that's a wrap." Went back and broke it again. I mean,
right?
you know, we're gonna go like day by day. We're gonna get right into it, Bobby. Day one, my guy. We'll start off with my guy, and then we'll bounce to your guy. So, or if you want to add on, you know, whatever. But we're just conversating here, you know. Two Bears fans. But I like that Rook from Clemson, from the defensive lineman. I mean, dude hit a split, second fastest among defensive tackles. He was about 295 or something like that. Top five in both vertical and broad. He ran like right under a 4.9. It was like 4.89 or something like that. I mean,
Crazy.
real athletic guy, great tape, man. That was a guy I liked. Who did you like out of the defensive linemen?
First and foremost, I got to give credit to all the defensive linemen. I know we're going to get to the offensive linemen, but these big fellas are running. These big fellas are
Dude.
running. It is crazy how these guys they're so big. Like, it's crazy. I know one of the guys, I know it's offensive side. I know we're going to get to that, but Joe
Yeah.
Alt, 6'8", 300 plus pounds. My goodness, is that a huge
Let's
man?
go.
And
Hey,
but
you know what, Bobby? Bobby,
hmm?
you know what I heard? I heard the way that they've set all these records this year is they put a taco truck at the finish line. And all the big boys, man, they're like, let's go.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Even for some of us little and short guys, we love some good
Yeah.
tacos for sure. But
Everybody
if we
loves
talk
tacos.
about defensive linemen, for me, one of the guys that stood out that I wasn't really familiar with early on was Brandon Fisk out of FSU, Florida State.
Oh, yeah.
He moved. He had some nice movement. He ran a good 40. Look big, powerful. And that's all you want to see. You want to see these guys come out there and put their best foot forward so they could try to move up within
Yeah.
those draft rooms. So that was one of the guys that stood out to me. Obviously, you go with the Zerton Newton. You look at him and what he could possibly bring to a team. And then for me, another guy from Texas was Tavondre Sweat. Huge man, another big, huge guy who put on a nice show for sure.
Circling back really quick to that Braden Fisk from Florida State. What is that RAS that the Bears, I know especially I think Poles is in love with. Can you break that down a little bit? I hate to put you on the spot, but that RAS seems to be like what they're interested in. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think the way that they look at it, at least from from looking at the past 2 drafts from the Bears, is that they love guys who have good measurables, long
Right.
arms, big bodies,
Wingspan.
exactly, who can provide some versatility. Because, and I think it's a good way to look at prospects as well, because not only would you want guys to be able to work inside or outside, but you want to have the opportunity to see if they can be a bit more flexible or versatile, or add some versatility to give you different lineups on either side of the ball. So where you can see, hey, how can we take advantage of whatever team that we're playing this week, and put something in front of them that's a bit different than what they viewed on tape possibly. So I think that's good that they look at different things like that, and I'm not too mad at it because they found some solid prospects by following that.
Bro, absolutely. I mean, no questions asked. There's some guys in there that they potentially other guys weren't looking at, but whatever it is, keep cooking, man. Because
Facts.
Poles, you got this. I don't know what it is. Like you said, length, all that. There's got to be something to it. It's working. So that
Agreed.
the length that got me was that Texas Tech Miles Cole. Everybody knew about that guy, the edge, whatever. He had he's still raw, they said. Edge rusher, 6'6", right under 280, ran a 4.67. That's pretty freaky fast for that big, for that size. And like I said, that wingspan he had the longest wingspan of any edge in the draft. So
Sheesh.
I would say that they, like you said, Bobby, looking into that RAS, that's something that they potentially would look at. I'm not sure about this nose tackle, but he still checks some boxes for me from Texas. That Byron Murphy too. I liked him, man. He was explosive, uh, unbelievable, man,
I don't know, man. It
unbelievable.
must be the chicken or something. The chicken
down,
is producing some crazy.
down in
It
Texas,
must be the
yeah.
chicken and the beef. I don't know. Filet mignon
Yeah.
must be a little bit different nowadays.
Yeah, they said his 10-yard split was off the chain, man, and he fared very well in his workouts and stuff. So,
Yeah, I tell you one guy,
what about that one dude, Chop, bro, Chop
bro.
Robinson?
That's exactly where I was gonna go. I said, how is Chop running
Yeah,
4.4 speed? It's
dude,
ridiculous.
4.4.
4.4
Wow,
speed. It's
dude,
ridiculous. Like, and I'm
that's
a little guy. I
yeah.
always, crack on myself and tell people how short I am and
Mhm.
how little I am. But man,
Go for
these
two.
guys are huge. And I believe some of these guys, back in the day, when I played my sports or whatever, I probably believe that most of these guys can run just as about fast as me. So crazy. Again, it's
Yeah.
the chicken and the filet mignon for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna start hitting that up then. Maybe that'll get me.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, fastest edge rusher, 10-yard split, all that stuff, man. He was his athleticism was basically his calling card, just everything he was doing, putting up strong numbers to help his draft stock. I
Right.
think, like, little by little, up and down, this and that.
Of course.
It's really the flavor of the week, and it helps you put eyes in front of people and separate whatever. And you got to do your homework and show.
Of course.
You have to show the reason for your existence on your ball club when you're a staff member. I went to the combine. Yes, I had cocktails, I had some steaks every night, but here's all my notes, and these are the guys
Nothing wrong with
that.
that, man. Hey, you got to
No,
enjoy yourself out here. You can go work, but
man.
hey, I'm as a vet in the military vet, bro.
Yeah,
You work hard and you party harder. Just be
yeah,
safe.
yeah. Hey! I was in the Navy, so you already know about us sailors,
Right.
bro. You already
Man,
know
just
about
you
us
got to
sailors.
work hard and party harder, but be safe. That's it.
Yeah,
Don't get called
just
up to the office.
and don't miss the boat before the whistle blows.
Right. So come
It's a
on
long
now.
swim to catch up, man.
That is right.
So, hey, another guy I like getting into linebackers now because they hit up them linebackers was that dude from NC State, Peyton Wilson. He looked pretty good, man. He had a top RAS grade linebacker class. He looked pretty good. Physical, 4.43, 10-yard split again, 6'4", 230, 233. His injury history, that bothers me a little bit, but there's a
Right.
legitimate argument about his tape. He best off the ball linebacker in the 2024 class. So, I mean, I feel like we kind of got a guy over there. And I'm kind of seeing what he's working into. His brother plays for the Lions. Like, I always forget that dude's name. His brother's an offensive line, Hawaiian dude. You know what I'm saying?
Panay Sewell.
Yeah, Panay Sewell. Well, we
Yeah.
got what is it?
And we
Noah
have
Sewell, right? Noah Sewell.
we talked so much about him last season coming
Yeah,
into this season, but he dealt with
yeah.
some injuries.
Okay.
Noah Sewell. There we go.
Noah Sewell, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I was really excited. I thought maybe, they could work with him, get him in there, whatever, but it didn't work out maybe this year, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
who else did you see at linebacker that excited you?
I mean, to me, I really like some of the guys out there. Obviously, me as being a Michigan fan, I know, ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm from
Oh, yeah.
Chicago, Illinois, but I am a Michigan fan because the fighting in line that make it hard for me to cheer for him watching football,
Yep.
But I gotta keep it real, and this pains me to say it, but I'm honestly gonna start looking around to see how everyone view Tommy Etchenberg at Ohio State. I believe that he has some solid film, and in certain games he was able to rise to the occasion. So I'm anxious to see like how some of these draft experts start to view him. Now after the combine is passed and pro days are coming and things like that. Yeah, that's at least one of the guys. I don't want to be the fanboy for the Michigan Wolverines, so I ain't gonna mention my guy.
Hey, bro, I'll tell you right now, you already see what I'm wearing, so
Yes, sir.
I get a lot of heat on that, but
It's okay.
I'm originally from California, so it's like I like because I played college ball, semi-pro, left tackle, special teams, whatever. And I block for who's ever under center. I don't care.
Yeah.
People don't understand this, how I can
Exactly.
just, but here's the deal. I don't pick and choose whether I like a guy to block him or not. If he's
Right.
my quarterback, I'm ride or die. I'm going to protect him, whatever. So, but why wouldn't you try to, root for somebody that's playing for the college that you like that could potentially come to your favorite NFL team? I mean, it makes sense,
Of
but
course. It
like I
definitely
said, I
is.
still like Fields, but and we could. What I think Poles, he's going to do a lot better job than me at GM. So even if he doesn't pick those two, I'm sure he's got something figured out. So we'll see what it is.
I tell you
but,
right now, Brandon, I'm too emotional to be a GM. I'm too
dude,
emotional to be a GM.
dude,
That's why
yes.
that's why I tell people every time they listen to me, I say, hey, don't take for what I say as being, the glory words, per se. Me
Gospel.
personally, I'm too emotional to be a GM because it have been a lot of people fired, a lot of coaches fired very, very fast last season, and a couple players would have been cut. That's why you got to leave it up to the guys that get paid the big bucks. Because I'm too emotional to be a GM for real. I
Step
love
into my
football so
office. Why? Because you're fired.
right?
Boy, come back. I need you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of that, and I was listening to Pat does it really good for the designer from the Windy City Breeze. He talking about how Ryan Poles is that poker face, and he's got those cards up to his face and all that. I mean, seriously, look at this face, dude. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I got. I'm gonna tell you, I got the Joker Deuce Ace, dude. I'm
right.
going
Let's go.
I'm riding it up. I got
We
all the
trying to
spade
ride the
hands.
table. We trying to yard y'all. We trying to make it happen for sure.
I got one. Oh yeah,
Right?
okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
you already know those spade games get very serious
Yeah.
nowadays.
I liked another guy I liked was the Cooper from Texas A&M, 6'2", 230 pounds, little under. I think he could beef up a little bit. 34-inch arms. He was very fast. 4'5", for a linebacker. That's moving,
Right.
bro. is that he's not the strongest off the ball, but he figures to be one of the first ones to come off the board. So we'll see. I don't know what we're doing. I think we're fine on linebacker. I think what I think is going to end up happening is we're going to try to find because between you and me, this is the way I see it. I see our coach, he flus, he likes by committee. You won't see a lot of numbers in one area. I think people are going to be refreshed, come in and out. He likes to keep fresh legs, people, whatever. So I could see that. So I think we're going to end up getting some more guys on the line. I don't know. Maybe now when I had Tommy Harris on a couple weeks ago, he told me that he actually likes our 3 technique already. He likes the way that he his technique, the way he moves his hands, the way he does, his moves, all this. He broke it down. I don't know what the heck he was saying, but Tommy does. So I'm gonna go with that. You know what I mean? Tommy knows,
sometimes that's just pretty much how you got to go with, what I'm saying? The guys that actually play the pro game, like sometimes you really got to sit down and listen to them because they know they spent those time, especially with a track record like Tommy Harris, a guy that was able to compete for a Super Bowl. So he had to do a lot of things correctly. And he was on some of the best teams that we ever seen from Chicago in recent memory. So you got to show him some love, and I'm not too mad at it. Me personally, I think that Matt Eberflus on the defensive side has done a pretty good job developing young talent. Ryan Poles pretty much told us when he took the job that he's going to build through the draft, and that's what you want to see. You want to see good, competent staff building these young players up because you know that most of your prime players, they're going to take the bulk of the money. But if you want to be a contending team, you got to have some young players be able to step up in big moments for sure.
Boom. And I like what you just said there, and I'll add to that. I'll piggyback on what you said because, he wants to build through the draft, but also he does understand that you got to have players to help force multiply all of those talents. Because when you are drafting somebody, all a draft pick is a potential talent. It does not mean that because you're a badass over there in college, it does not mean that you're going to that'll transfer right over to the NFL. People have seen that all the time, right?
Agreed.
So, but that's why you got to get a guy like Sweat in the building. That's why you got to get, studs, like Edmonds, all these guys that can come in and show these guys the way. You got to re-sign JJ so he could show those other DBs, how it's done, whatever, play big body style, have Gordon, be that lead in safety. You got to bring a guy up, whatever, get him in free agency, whatever it is, you potentially, whatever he likes, get a rookie, whatever, but you got to have that whole, everybody working together. You know what I'm saying? You can't just have a bunch of rookies out there,
Agree. So, you need some professionalism in that locker room. You need some leadership. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have your what a lot of us have been, calling those blue chip players, you know what I'm saying, on your team. Those guys who have done it, has been doing it for some years now, and that can, pretty much show those young guys the way. And I like what we have so far.
Yeah, I do too. And man, you could see exactly what it does when a guy like Sweat enters the building because right away, man, all the measurable, the whole defense is like changing. Like everybody's numbers got up. Like if I was on the defense, I'd be like, "Thank you very much for coming in, Mr.
Right?" Because I tell you, one beneficiary for the Montez Sweat trade was Justin Jones. I know we talked. We were kind of like, Justin Jones, where are you? We're hearing that we're hearing. The chatter and stuff saying that you are one of the good leaders in the locker room, but where's the production? Once Montez Sweat hit the team, we've seen the production pretty much rise for Justin Jones and some other players as well.
Well, and not to go old head again about it, but I have to because that's where I'm at, in a way.
Right.
I look back when we went and got Pep. When we went and got Pep, man, you looked at the whole defensive line, man, and you looked at what guys that were on the line, and they started to look like they were hitting the weights better, man. They were cleaning up, they were dropping weight, they just looked more muscular, and they played better together, man. Pep was a force multiplier. Sweat reminds me a lot like him. I'm not going to say that he's going to have those numbers and then enter into the, to the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. I'm not saying that, but all I'm saying is when he got there, you sensed it automatically, man. Things changed, bro. Things changed.
Agreed.
Who
I add
was that?
another name. I
What's
was
that?
gonna say Khalil Mack as well.
Oh, yeah.
You
Dude,
seen Khalil
Khalil.
Mack have an impact. You had Leonard Floyd, you had Akeem Hicks, you had your Kyle Fullers, and that's one of the best seasons we seen of Eddie Jackson. So you know what I mean? And then we had Adrian Amos around that time as well. So you seen the impact
Dude,
that
Amos.
Khalil Mack had as well. And I think
Yes.
that Montez Sweat is right up on that same path of bringing the monsters of the mill way back per se.
Yeah. Yep. You know what? Okay. So getting back really quick to what I was saying about what do you call it? Pep, Israel Adonijah, bro.
Yeah.
Talk about a transformation, and it
Man.
was fast too, bro. I was
Right?
like, and then he was starting to wear his shirt. You know how like when you start working out, and you want to show
Yeah.
the wife you got a little something, and you start
Right.
wearing. That's what Izzy was doing, man. Like I was like, dude, where them guns come from?
Right, man. That when you get a player like that, you want to show off a little bit more. You want to show your guns a little bit more. Puff out your chest a little bit more. Be a little bit more confident. Everybody like this. This is a competitive league and a very, very competitive sport. No matter what level you're looking at, and you want to be the best, and you want to come out here and talk trash in the best way, and you want to be able, hey, we got some dogs over here on our side. So, hey, I can't wait. Can't wait to see what's coming next.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited to see around every corner. I mean, you guys were talking about it the other day. Like, so much stuff is coming down the pipe. Like, we're literally going to have all kinds of stuff. Like, the NFL is almost set up, bro, to where it's like year round now. Year round. It's like a factory. Like, you don't get an off season. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool what's going on. By the way, guys, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Follow us on Chicago Sports Podcast. Make sure on the YouTube, again, you hit that subscribe and like button. Be a friend, tell everybody about us. And let's get into day 2. That is when we started to look at some defensive backs. And if you thought that those defensive linemen were fast when they saw that taco truck, these boys were cooking, bro. These boys were cooking. Nate Wiggins from Clemson. Oh, my goodness, bro. Fast, bro. 6'1" frame, 40-yard dash, blazing at 4.28. I was like, whoa, now we're starting to see some. You know what I mean? Unbelievable.
Yeah,
but, 173 pounds. We've seen that. Basically what you're doing is you're hiring a track star in a football uniform and hoping that they can put some muscle on, right, Bobby?
Right, of course. You know what I'm saying? That these guys, they're gonna be you gotta come to the NFL and beef up a little bit. These are big dudes that's gonna be out there no matter where you look at. If you face the Kansas Cities of the world, you see Travis Kelce, your George Kittles, hell, Darren Waller is a big guy. And some of these wide receivers are huge now too. Your DK Metcalfs, you got your shifty guys, your Zay Flowers, you got so many different type of players out there that's trying to, pick up yards on each possession. So these safeties and these cornerbacks, you got to beef up a little bit, and you can't be afraid to tackle nowadays, especially in a passing league. One of the guys I love the safety class, man. I know that the safety position is a need for the Chicago Bears.
Yes, sir.
And the guy that I really, really hope that the Bears can some way, somehow figure it out and grab him is Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota, bro. That's just Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota. He's one of those guys to where I don't think he ran a good 40. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just know from when you watch the film, it's solid film. And another guy that I was really, really looking at from the safety spot, because I was honing in. I looked at a couple cornerbacks, but I was really honing in on the safety because I feel like that's a position of need. Is I believe I like Cam Kitchens out of Miami, but I believe Javon Bullard out of Georgia had a good showing as well. So
Oh yeah, man. Anytime you throw a Georgia name around, that's something that you
right?
got to look into, man.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's an NFL factory over there now, bro.
Oh yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
I did want to ask you somebody because, and I struggle with his name, but because I know you love the big house. Mike Sainris still. He's a defensive back out of Michigan.
I
He
mean,
he
yeah. I mean, those guys, I believe that Jim Harbaugh put those players in a great position. And they play physical football. To me
yeah
personally, if you're bringing in a defensive back, whether that's the corner spot or the safety spot, you need some physicality, especially in coverage. And depending on what you want to do, and I know that when you talk about scheme for the Chicago Bears, Matt Eberflus wants his defensive lineman to kind of be that engine to get the defense going and staying consistent. And that's what you really need. You need you guys up front to bring that pressure. So the guy out of Michigan, he's able to bring some physicality. I think he can improve in some ways. I have to believe again when we talk about beefing up a little bit, getting that weight, getting that fluidity within your hips and all that stuff as a cornerback. He still got to improve on that though. But we'll see what happens, man. It's very, very interesting with this draft and the combine and everything. All the stuff is now on display. It's very
yeah.
exciting.
Bro, did you see that freaking that guy from Texas Tech, Tyler Owens? He had that broad jump was sick. It was like 12'2". I was like, oh my
That is
goodness.
ridiculous, bro.
12'2", bro.
That is
12 foot.
ridiculous, bro.
Yeah. Like
That is ridiculous.
if I fall forward, it's not a jump, but at least I'm getting 6'6". So I got half of that almost if I just fall forward, maybe reach for,
I'm giving you 5 feet of effort.
I'm giving you 5 foot of me. You got all of me. You got all of me, coach.
I'm giving you 5 feet of effort. That's it.
The dude also had a 41 vertical. I mean, that's literally almost 4 foot up in the air, bro. It's
that's
it's
ridiculous.
3.5 foot. 3.5 foot.
That's ridiculous.
My table sits at about 3.5 foot because I'm tall and I like to get up off the ground, whatever. But
right.
Most tables are around 30, whatever. Yeah, 3.5 foot is just sick, man. You're basically jumping over. Yeah, it's insane. So you're getting up there, man. He's going to win a jump ball, quite a few jump balls.
Hey, for sure.
Especially being 6'2", bro. 6'2".
That's what we want, man. You got to be up there. It's going to be some opportunities to go and get some contested catches, and you just want you guys to be up there, go ahead and make a play. That's it.
But I mean, realistically, we're going to move on from this and move on to the tight end, and a little disappointed with the tight end university this year because that dude got, I think, like an injury in each knee. So I really wouldn't even look at that dude from Iowa. But potentially every year you just like circle Iowa and see what that guy is.
Agree.
Yeah. But just realistically, I mean, JJ. You basically he's going to get signed, whatever it's going to be. Let's just get it done. I think it's just a matter of Bears want to get him for 3 years and say, hey, you can still get another big contract down the road if you just sign 3 years with us. I think JJ wants to get locked up and get the bigger money, a lot of guaranteed money up front with some Escalade, whatever. I think what you want to look at the fact that I don't have a problem with it, but he started out in college with a shoulder injury. Then he ended up with a shoulder injury with us the year before, not this year. Obviously, you're going to show out and show up as much as you can for that contract season. So all your numbers are going to look good. Plus Sweat got there. But last year, is he taking some plays off, going a little light because he's, taking care of that shoulder? Well, all I'm saying is if I'm the man that, is with the plan in GM polls, I'm saying, okay, we want to throw in some little bonus incentives. Like if you make 80% snaps or this many games, whatever, all this sort of stuff, we're going to give you incentive bonus and make it worth your while to stay as healthy as possible. Now, I know things happen and, we got to take care of what we got to take care of and, health and safety first, right? But there's got to be something in there that gives me a little warm and fuzzy when we get this, when the ink dries and this contract's done, that says, hey man, JJ, you're my number one guy. I'm dropping a lot of stock in you, a big chunk of my money from the defense side of the ball. And I'm counting you as my number one lockdown guy for the best wide receivers in the biz. And I want this, to happen. There's got to be something there because I know that's a lot of talk. I've heard a lot of talk about the injury, blah blah blah. But I mean, make no mistake about it, baby. He was the best DB in all of football this year. So you got to pay the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, and I think you absolutely have to pay him. And I'm with you on your train of thought and your thinking on this. Give him a front heavy contract, and
Yeah.
it's kind of similar to like DJ Moore. DJ Moore contract is hefty on the front end, and then it kind of tails off on the back end. I think that's something that you do for Jalen Johnson, and especially with the injury history, you definitely got to take that into account. But I think one of the key factors is that the youth that he has, I believe he's still 24, 25 years old. So you can still
Yeah.
lock him up on a 4-year, 5-year deal if they want that to be that long. And I think that one of the big pluses that the Bears got this offseason is that the increase of the salary cap is pretty good. So
I do like that, Bobby. I do like that, but I will tell you really quickly, it's not. I mean, it is good in a way because a part of that money was COVID money. The other part of it was the TV contract money. So I think potentially down the road, you're looking at just for Monday Night Football, they locked it in on a 6-year deal for $880 million. That's short of a billy. That's short of a billy just for one night. Just for one night and one TV channel as six years. So you know there's going to be more money each year coming down the pipeline. But you did look at some other numbers go up where you're going to have to pay the players more money. You looked at beforehand. You looked at the what's that called? Where you put the cap the cap on the player in order to keep them for 1 year.
Oh, your franchise tag.
Franchise tag. It went up for Fields, whereas potentially no, it wasn't Fields. It was his 5th-year option went up. That went up. So different things are going up. So that's going to eat away at your money too. That's all I'm saying. I think even the franchise tag money is going up in every position more and things like that. So it's kind of like the plug and play, just like the money that it's going to take, the market is setting itself, and that 30 mil ain't just coming just all 30 mil. You know, there's things
of course.
that's going to, you know what I'm saying? Things are going to happen. So
I do, and I'm glad you pointed that out too, because it just goes back to what you initially stated, pretty much saying that you want these guys, or at least Jalen Johnson in his contract, to have some incentives in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe, and maybe if I'm Jalen Johnson, I'm looking at the situation like, man, the future is bright. I know Jalen Johnson has had some moments with the Chicago Bears where he's seen some good days and a lot of bad days. But for me, the way that Ryan Poles is building this thing out, you're hoping that Jalen Johnson might say, okay, I give you a few million back, but I'm not going to give you so much money back. And you can only respect that because he does have to get paid for the production that he's been putting out there for the Chicago Bears. So I just hope that with the way that Ryan Poles cooks and he, throw his shades on, grab his trench coat and grab his flip phone, he can get us a deal that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I do too, and also one last thing I want to touch. For the last couple years now, I think in the last 2 years, we've got 5 defensive backs in the draft. So I don't think we're going to go heavy on that.
Agreed.
I do think, like you said, we will pick up a safety. We'll be lucky if we pick up another defensive back for whatever reason. The only reason why I would see we would get maybe 1 or 2 would if definitely they can't work it out with JJ and he's like, bump this, I can get better elsewhere, blah, blah, blah. I'm done, whatever. But I don't think that's happening. So getting into the tight end, I do like a guy out of Penn State, Theo Johnson. Thought he was good. Nice 40-yard dash, 20-yard shuttle. He was the second tallest out of 16 tight ends in the combine. He was a freak, man. Good, solid player coming out of the Big Ten out of Penn State,
Yeah, that's a big dude. 6'6", 6'6". Hey, that's a big guy right there. And you just look, man. Playing in the Big Ten is tough. You gotta be good in the trenches. And obviously, when you look at tight ends, you want to see if your tight end can provide you with some versatility. You want to see if they can go ahead, not only receive, but if they can also go out there and set blocks for you, be productive in the run game and things like that. And I love the size that Mr. Johnson brings on for Penn State. It's not bad. It's not bad. You need some big guys up front if you want to be successful.
Yeah, I agree, man. You gotta have big guys, and like Waldron said, he wants to have potentially 2 to 3 tight end sets. So you want to make sure that you're looking and doing your due diligence to bring more guys in. I don't know if that's going to look like, getting yourself what you call it,
Right.
a free agent or through the draft. You think you'd get something through the draft, but I don't know, with depending on what Poles can do, how much he cooks, if he even picks anyone out of the draft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me personally, I think that somebody to keep an eye on is Noah Fant from Seattle. I mean, he knows Shane Waldron's system. I believe he's solid. I wouldn't say he's a great player, but I believe he's good enough. You know what I'm saying? He's good. He's able to give the Chicago Bears something that they were missing with Robert Tanya. I thought
Yeah.
Robert Tanya was going. Me personally, I thought Robert Tanya was going to be a good pickup. It didn't work out, and sometimes that just happens. But I wouldn't be mad if Shane Waldron called on Ryan Poles to say, hey, let's see if we can bring in one of my guys to see if he can work with my system. I know how he operates. I know what he likes. I know what he doesn't like. And let's see if he can add to the Chicago Bears. And you might not have to spend so much money. You get your experienced guy. And you might not have to worry about, developing a younger guy so much, at least right now, when you can focus everything else on the other positions.
Smart. Yeah. And you know what? I do think too, like you said, I don't know what was going on this year with that tight end from the Packers. I'm calling sabotage right now. I don't know what the heck was
No
up with
more
that
double agents, bro. No more
dude.
double agents, brother. For real. No more double agents. No more
No.
coaches from the Green Bay. No more players from Green Bay. Just let them stay over there with the stanky cheese. Please. Just let them stay over there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what's going on. Let's just I digress. No more. I'm with you, dude. Let's make it happen. Polls, if you're
For
listening,
sure.
please. I do have some special news I wanted to tell you, Bobby. I'm not sure if I told Hayes about it yet, but in a couple weeks, waiting to hear back from the like the scheduler or whatever of Kevin Warren. I'll be doing a pod over at Hallis Hall with him in his
Oh, that's
office.
awesome, man.
Or like a war room or something, maybe like a conference room. I'm thinking maybe his office or whatever. So I'm pretty
Oh,
excited
that's
about
awesome, man. I hope you be able to get something locked in and go ahead and talk to Kevin Warren. I like how he
it.
talk.
Yeah.
And it'd be great to see you be able to work with him and be able to ask those questions that we need to ask as fans.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
and the way that it all went down is Mongo, his wife is my co-host, and I've done a lot of stuff to help him out with his fight against ALS. I've interviewed a lot of his friends who's helped as well too.
Yeah.
Because it costs like $16,000 a month for him to fight against that. It's very expensive and whatever. But Kevin is a good friend of Mongo, and he's been wanting to help out. So I said, hey, let's do something up there. I'll do something where, like, see at the bottom of the screen where I have that banner there. We're gonna run Mongo's number down at the bottom, and where they can make a payment to it goes straight into his nursing fund. So Kevin was excited about that, and he wants to help out. So
And that's great to hear, man. That's great
yeah,
to hear that you're doing things like that, just supporting them, supporting your
yeah,
people. That's all we
yeah,
ask for, around here.
yeah,
I know ALS is something I'm not very familiar with, but I do have some familiarity with it, with looking at different sports stories and things like that. So I think it's very important that we go ahead and continue to raise awareness on that. And
yeah.
just see if we can support our people the best way we can. We all Bears fans at the end of the day. So that's all that
Well,
matters. Let's support our people.
exactly. And I will tell you this much: ALS and CTE are the two causes that are stemmed from football injuries. And it did not help that Mongo used to get his head bashed in to freaking metal, stairs while he was wrestling in the WCW. So,
Whew.
I mean, he took all that and
Right.
everything. So he's a tough son of a gun. So, yeah, shout out to him, man, and all his fighting and everything, and
Of
trying to make
course.
it. I'm so glad, Bobby, that he got that call finally from Canton, and they said, "Come on in." You know what I'm saying, bro? That's
Yeah.
so cool. So,
And I'm excited that he was able to, make it through his few days within the hospital and be able to
yeah,
go home. And we
yeah,
just want to make sure that he's able and live and well enough to where he could see himself be, enshrined into the Hall of Fame because he's well deserving of that.
And I will tell you this much: Brian and George McCaskey agreed to pay for his flight to Canton because it's a special
Wonderful.
flight. He's got to have all that medical,
Right.
the oxygen bottles, all the machines and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and the care to get him from house to there. So
Exactly, to Canton. So,
yeah,
hey,
it's a lot.
that's great, man. I'm happy that they're doing that for him, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back to tight ends. We were there's a local kid, Tip Ryman from Illinois. He killed it in blocking drills, man. That's my favorite part because they asked me one time when I was playing at Christopher Newport University, hey, we're looking for somebody that potentially could be like a back end fill roll tight end. I was like, raise my hand real quick, I was like, I've got some balls, I'm excited. Let's go. So they were like, okay, great, Hyatt. You'll be running with the wide receivers and you'll be doing all the blocking drills with your offensive line. I was like, dude, them boys had me running, and like day 2, I was like, hey man, I think I really want to focus on taking care of my quarterback, and I feel like if I keep running and all this crazy, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to take care of him that well. I was like, I want to
Right.
focus on it.
I mean, but man, I give it up to you guys that step up and block. I play running back. Wasn't much of a blocker, I'll be honest on that one. But it takes a lot of guts to see if you can move another man off his square. So it takes a lot of effort and toughness, and hey, that's why you see so many offensive linemen dealing with a bunch of nicks and bruises all season long. Shout out to Darnell Wright on that.
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable, man. I can't believe he played with like one arm one day. Like he was like blocking a
Right?
guy
It's
off.
crazy.
Yeah, he freaking knocked the guy down, like pancaked him with
Takes
one arm.
guts.
I was like, dude, I would like that. That's what I would do if there was ever some beef going on with that guy. I would show you how I pancaked you with one arm.
Hey, it takes
Like
guts to
remember
go out
that
there
day?
and block some people, especially in
Yeah.
football.
No, but that guy's 271 pounds, dude, and he's running a
Wow.
4.64.
That is crazy,
4.64.
man. That's what I'm
And
saying, man. It's crazy how we seen some of these 40 times this past week in the NFL Combine. You like, man, this guy's 6'5" and he's running, under a sub 5 40-yard dash as a huge man. It's crazy.
yeah, exactly. Is there any tight end that was that excited you before we move on that you liked, or I mean, they were
I
all
mean, me
big boys.
personally, I gotta go with the number one guy. I gotta go with Brock Bowers. I gotta go with the guy who a lot of people believe he's gonna be the first tight end off the board. I mean, I believe he provides so much versatility. Obviously, I still think that he has to add a little bit more, so he can be used well within that blocking game. But the versatility that he's gonna provide for whatever team he goes to is something that you really, really love. He's gonna be able to be that guy that's a matchup nightmare in a slot. Or if you need him in 12-man personnel, you can go ahead and see if he could be useful in that regard. So I gotta go with the number one guy. I gotta show him a lot of love.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, especially coming from Georgia. I mean, that say less when it comes to that, and the fact that he could actually be used as a like slot receiver, run up the seam, do all that, plus
Right.
block, come back, H back, freaking block on the line, take off as a tight end on the line.
Of
I mean,
course.
there's so many different versatilities that you could do with this guy. It's unbelievable, and I mean, he basically kind of reminds me of like a unpolished Dallas Clark. What I mean by that is
I
like
think that's fair.
obviously Dallas really like worked his tail off to move from
Uh-huh.
Iowa as a linebacker to tight end and then off to college, and Peyton Manning made it look pretty easy,
Right.
so
Hey.
and he had that Marcus Pollard over there kind of showing him the ropes, so that kind of helped
Yeah.
out too. But yeah, dude, I like that Devin Culp. He was 231, strong testing day for him. Lightest tight end in the combine at 231 pounds. Reminds me of that Eagles tight end that they had. Was basically like a receiver, but and then I think there was Giants tight end that was like that too. You basically might as well call him a receiver because he was so light, right? But
Right.
he finished with the 7th best 40-yard dash time at a 4.47. So it was pretty. That was Culp out of Washington, which you saw what he called throw bullets over there to him.
Yeah.
But I did like. Did you see that one big boy who that first time ever at the combine where a guy caught 2 balls at one or at the same time?
What's the fella's name? I couldn't
Honker
remember
or
his
something
name.
like it was like a real tight end name like Honker or something like it was like tough. It was like
that was from Colorado State, Dallin Hoker.
Hoker, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. But hey, and I gotta give him credit. Finish the drill. No matter no matter if you did it wrong or correctly, finish the drill. So he said, "Hey, I caught the ball. I don't want to let the extra go. Send another one. I'm gonna run with 2."
Made history,
give it
baby.
up to
him. Made what is this to make chicken salad out of chicken shit?
Hey, there you go. There you go.
So, dude, day 3, Xavier Worthy from Texas, unbelievable.
My goodness.
4.21, bro. 4.21.
My goodness. That is ridiculous. And I was like, who's this kid? He ran so fast. I went and watched film on him. And I love what he can bring. I'm not saying he has the shiftiness of a Zay Flowers, but if you miss the tackle, get ready. That's it. If you miss the tackle on Xavier Worthy from Texas, just get ready for a track meet to the end zone. If you miss a tackle, you're in trouble.
He gone.
Yes, sir. It's crazy.
Oh, Dunzy, Romeo.
I love Rome. What Rome was able to do. I believe he put himself clearly right up in there 2 or 3 spot, and you can't go wrong with him. I know the Bears have an opportunity to draft him at 9. We don't know how the draft is gonna, shape out. With whoever's gonna select who they're gonna select. But I wouldn't be too mad at pairing him with Justin Fields or the young rookie quarterback if the Bears are electing to go that route. I think he's polished. I think he has great body control, solid hands, and I can't bat an eye at what he was trying to do to end his day. While he was working out at the combine, he was bad. He kept hitting a certain cone. I forgot on one of the drills. I forgot the name of it, but he wanted to, perfect his craft and put on a good show for those scouts. And I respect that. That's all you can ask for a young guy to come out there and do. And that's to put your best foot forward and just try to, be the best that you can be. So shout out to Rome.
Yeah, man. I mean, seriously, you saw how coordinated he was in a moving, receiver in and out of his moves over there, at Washington. So you kind of had a feeling that that's how he was going to show out, even at 6'3", 215 pounds. I mean, that's a pretty good sized dude. And if he puts on a little bit more, weight, 5-10 pounds, you got to figure over the next 5 years, maybe a little beer, a little bit of Chicago style pizza, who knows,
Go to Lou Malnati's, Giordano's, find you a spot.
Find you a spot, man.
Find you a spot.
Yep. Yeah. So I like that Adane from Texas, Mitchell.
Yes.
Unbelievable, man. 4'3", 6'2", 205. He was 3 inches taller. And he was 40 pounds heavier than Worthy, and still, I mean, he was booking, man. He almost had a 10 point Ross grade, which they really like. Again, we talked about that earlier with Chicago. So that he dropped just 1 pass on 90 targets this year. So that's freaking unbelievable. You only drop 1 ball on 90 targets. Come on, man.
Yeah, man. That's all you ask for. These guys, you're wide receiver for a reason, man. We need your hands, and he showed good hands. And I was very impressed with his combine. Everything that he was able to do. He looked fluid. He looked like he was able to make the difficult catches. So me personally, I wouldn't be too mad if he ended up a Chicago Bear. He was one of the guys that I found talented. Another guy that I found talented and showed some good and had a good showing at the NFL Combine was Jaquan Jackson out of Tulane. I love the speed and to add on to it as his wide receiving, he's capable. but he's also a capable return man as well. Maybe that's something that might interest some teams around the NFL.
Yeah, and you've got to look at a guy like that because of, all the versatility and everything that he could do, and just, what he did this year was unbelievable. Another guy that I thought had an unbelievable year was, obviously, if you got a great quarterback, you start looking at receivers, right? So I was looking at LSU with that Brian Thomas Jr.
Yes.
Unbelievable, man. Fast, 6'3", 209. He ran a 4.340 at that size.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
pretty good, man. That's
Yeah,
cooking,
that was pretty good. I think that's something you gotta consider. We know Malik Neighbors is gonna get the bulk of the attention from the guys from LSU, but Brian
Yeah,
Thomas is somebody who had a great showing at the combine as well. And if you look at the film from LSU, he wasn't too
yeah.
bad at all. So
No,
you just got
17
to make your
touchdowns.
decisions. Yeah, you got to make your decisions.
17 touchdowns. They say he might be at the top four wide receiver spot. So, I mean, potentially right there, you could be looking, depending on the way, Poles is cooking, he might be like, hey, dude, BT's going to be there. Let's see, maybe that's
Yeah,
that's a guy we're going to look at, with the absurd, supersized speed freak that he is,
of course.
Um, there's so many guys to pick from, but I want to get into your repertoire, what you like to do, man. You're the speed back in the building right now.
Right.
Uh, what do you think about any of the running backs coming in, bro?
For the running backs that I was able to watch, some guys that stood out to me the most was Bucky Irvin from Oregon. He really when I watched his tape, I seen a lot of things that he was able to do. I think one of the questions is how well can he be able to block in the NFL? Because when I look at the Chicago Bears situation, I know that Khalil Herbert is solid. He's solid, but he still has his issues with blocking for the quarterback. And then I know Roshan Johnson is very, very capable, but we just didn't see enough from him last year. So I like Bucky Irvin. I like Braylon Allen from Wisconsin. That's another guy that I watch very closely, along with Blake Corum from Michigan. Even though I think that Blake Corum he's on the shorter side, only 5'8", but he is
Hey,
stocky. So it's some things that the Bears will really have to dive into to see if they can figure out their running back position, or if they even want to entertain bringing in another running back.
and there's still some free agents out there, Bobby. I think there's like 14 really good running backs in the free
Of course,
agency that are expected to drop. That's pretty exciting. But you also got to take a look at this, draft class. I, height really has really never really bothered me when it comes to running back, because I
that's fair.
think
Yeah,
you can use that versatility. You can get lost in that shuffle when you get a,
yeah,
a little guy, especially with these big offensive linemen and defensive linemen
yeah.
that, are standing 6'6", whatever. And you get a guy squeezing in and out and get in
Right.
that steam, man, and he's gone, man. You just try to get your, bear paw on him and he's out of here, So I think that would be great to have a little scat back there, wreck and shop,
Yeah, I
Um,
feel you on that.
I do like Trey Benson from Florida State, man. I thought he was good, man. With a 4.39 40, his weight was 216. Made him one of the bigger backs this year. I kind of personally I like those bigger traditional backs that can kind of take the extra pounding. You know what I'm saying? But I
Right.
really do like our running backs already, Bobby. I feel pretty good by committee.
I do feel good about him. It's just that the blocking aspect when it's time for those crucial blocking plays on your 3rd and 7s, your 3rd and 8s, hell, maybe sometimes even your 3rd and 10s. Can the running back sit in for the Chicago Bears and block? I know Roshan Johnson is capable. It's just that we didn't see it enough. And I have the belief that Khalil Herbert will improve and continue to improve as long as Shane Waldron puts him in the right position, because I wasn't so high on Luke Getsy in the way that he had his players in positions to execute plays. It was a bit shaky for me with Luke Getsy.
Yes, and I think that's why we went out and got a running backs coach and switched some things up and got a
Of
new
course.
OC. And of course, like that's you've really got to have trust in those new guys coming forward. So
Exactly.
let's hope they're able to do their jobs and do them right, and coach these guys up and do a lot better job than what we had.
Right.
We really didn't get a whole lot of good look as far as quarterbacks go because there really wasn't a whole lot going on there. But I did notice a couple measurables that I liked with Michael Penix Jr. He didn't test athletically at the combine, but he measured with those 10-inch hands, bro.
Crazy.
10-inch hands.
Crazy.
I mean, he's basically just swallowing up the ball all freaking just got it wrapped
Right.
around the whole dang thing. Like just, does he have a thumb pick?
and he had a good throwing day as well, Michael
Yeah,
Penix Jr. And a lot of
yeah,
people, and including me, like watching him be able to perform in some of
yeah.
those tough games in the Pac-12. He stepped up and rose to the occasion. So I'm really anxious to see what teams feel about him and where will he be drafted, because to go out there and perform well against USC's of the world, against Oregon, and even some more games, the film speak for itself. The film speak for itself.
Bobby, what can you tell people? Like, they give the Pac-12 and other, divisions, or conferences a hard time. What can you tell them when you're looking at a guy like this? Or they always seem to get like a bad shake because they're not playing against like the Alabamas of the world or the LSUs of the world. You know what I'm saying? What's your
Right.
take on all that?
I mean, you got to take the film for what it really is. Just because the guy's not playing in the SEC or the Big Ten, you can't really discount him. You know what I mean? Because no matter where you playing football, there's always going to be some adversity. There's going to be turnovers from multiple players on your team. There's going to be
Yeah.
penalties that impact the game. There's going to be coaching decisions that impact the game. And I think that if you really dive in and you looking at the game, you got to see how can these players overcome multiple situations. And I think that when you talk about some of the guys that played in the Pac-12 or played in the ACC or something like that, you got to look at what they're able to overcome and what was their demeanor while overcoming. Or if they took a tough loss, did they go in the corner and cry about it, or did they, take the loss, speak up, and then come out the next game firing on all cylinders? So it's a lot of things. I understand that the bigger conferences will get most of the love, but at the end of the day, it's still football. And again, the tape never lies.
The tape never lies. And I could talk to you about the tape all night, Bobby. So let's keep it going though. Get these folks to bed.
I
Let,
feel
let,
you on
let's
that.
let's get into day 4 real quick, man. A lot of guys were excited about this, and I'm excited about it as a former offensive lineman. I mean, this is basically like my wheelhouse, man. I get all excited about, and people were actually interested this year
Yes.
about offensive linemen for
Yes.
years. For years, you couldn't get nobody excited about the offensive lineman. But let me ask you a question, Bobby. You go sign a big contract as a running back, for a 4 or 5 year deal, 28 mil, whatever. You go buy that house. What's the first thing you're going to do after you buy that big mansion, the Bobby Estates?
Bobby, if I'm buying a house, I'm chilling for a couple months. I need to chill. I got to think
But
about the investment. That's just me. I'm a frugal guy. Some people call it cheap, but I'm going to use a better word, frugal. I'm very considerate. But after that, I got to go ahead and sit down and go get me a good steak, a good dinner. If I'm buying me a nice house with some money, I got to go have me a good dinner, whether that's at a hibachi or something like that, or just a normal steakhouse. That's just me. I don't really want to buy nothing else after that because it hurts to spend so much money.
yeah, it does, man. It
That's just
does.
me, though.
Especially when we come from nothing and then you get something, you almost want to hold on to it. And then
Of
when you let it
course.
go, it's
Yeah.
like, I finally had that and then it's gone so fast. But I definitely track with you and I'm exactly where you're at. But what I was looking for is insurance. You go out and buy
Of
that
course.
insurance that
Yeah.
protects you from mayhem. And that's what the offensive line is.
Facts.
So unfortunately, 3
Great
years
point.
ago, we did not do our Maserati Justin Fields any service by not getting him and protect some offensive linemen and protecting him from mayhem. I think in a way, polls by committee was getting guys, and there was Nate. He had an issue with his mom, family first, health, all that kind of stuff. Tevin Jenkins, he had injury, blah blah blah, this or that. So there was obviously some things where people were, we were trying to bring guys in, but it just didn't pan out. But at the same point in time, I feel like one blaring need, and you got to take into consideration this too, Bobby, before we get into this day 4 offensive lineman. As a GM and hiring the first ever assistant GM, both of those guys, Ian and Poles, and I say it to their face, I don't care because I love both of them. I think they're doing a great job. But as offensive linemen, you got to go get yourself a damn center.
Facts.
What the heck's going on?
Facts.
We just ignored like the most simple, you know what I'm saying? That's like having Karl Malone without Stockton, man, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But hopefully this year we get it right. I don't know if that means we go out and get ourselves somebody potentially in the free agency, or we get somebody out of the draft. But getting into the draft, I like those big boys out of Wisconsin. When you talk about offensive linemen, you look at Big Ten offensive linemen. Tanner Bortoloni, big guy, offensive lineman. He had a great 10-yard split. He ran a 4.49 40-yard dash, which I personally, I don't really see a real need to have a very fast 40-yard dash,
Right.
Unless we're doing a run block and we continue going down the field. But he's only going to get so far, I'm telling you, folks. He led in all blockers in both a 20-yard shuttle and 3-cone drill. His agility and body control stood out in all of his drills for all the centers it goes, and he was basically the best performer out of the bunch. Now, Bobby, I know we're not supposed to take a center early, but where would you see that need on the team with either keeping Fields or whoever it is under center? Where would you take a center?
You gotta get it. You gotta get it right. Me personally, I'm hoping that the Chicago Bears can find them a nice young veteran center. I believe Connor Williams is going to be available, but I believe he is coming off an injury. So me personally, I will want to look at the veteran side, but if you have to, you go find you one in the draft, one that's going to develop well, and you can build with and let them run the show for years and years to come. Me personally, I thought last year in the second round with John Michael Smith still on the board, the Bears were going to select him. They didn't, though. They took Tyreek Stevenson. I'm not mad at the pick, but I feel like that was the ample time to take him, take the center. But they had other plans. But I think now is the time to where you can bring in the veteran, but you also need to look at a young guy so you can, have competition at the position and see who's the best guy for the job. Because how the hell did you have 3 centers on your team and all of them stunk up the joint?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Especially when you're gonna go to a guy that in white hair where he can't even snap the ball without.
And that was just so disappointing, bro.
Right, he either goes over the head, and there was one with Fields his cape on. He jumped up to the moon, went up and caught it, came down, and actually got us a couple yards out of it.
Right,
if that was anybody else except maybe Mike Glennon, the ostrich neck, nobody else was going to get that, bro. Nobody else was going to get that.
Right,
that ball
it's
would have hit him
crazy.
straight in his neck. He wouldn't even need no skill. The ball went right in his neck.
Right.
Or some worm burners that go right on the grass, because I've seen a couple of those too. It's just bad, bro. But I like Joe. I like Joe Old over out at Notre Dame.
Oh.
He impressed us. He impressed us.
Man, is that a huge man? For real. Like 6'8", 320 something pounds.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yes.
That is ridiculous.
And I like that Samoan Fuaga out of Oregon State.
And the Samoan guys, I don't know what's the diet growing up. whatever.
Yeah.
But it seemed like all of them can carry washers and dryers on their back with no effort.
Yep. Chop wood, carry water. Let's go.
It's crazy. So
Yep.
that's another strong fella that put on for sure. So I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's some big guys that they could pick from, and I'm sure they're going to do their due diligence and get it right. They have to. This is
Yeah,
the
you have
draft.
to.
You
Yep,
got to
you
get it
have
right
to.
this
So
week.
many
Yeah.
wide receivers, so many offensive linemen and defensive linemen. You gotta nail some of those drafts. I believe Ryan Post has 2 solid drafts his 2 years with the Chicago Bears. Now you
Yeah.
gotta hit one. You gotta do it one more time. Need 3 years in a row.
Yeah, yeah, and I look at it too, Bobby. We were talking about it earlier. I mean, you look at it like this, okay? You look at it like the fact is remains is you at some point you got to protect your team from mayhem. You got to do those like not so sexy moves that the fan base ain't gonna get all ooh, But at the
Right.
same point in time, you saw what happened when we went and put 100 mil on the defense. The defense looked a lot better, head over
Of course.
heels, even with Montez Sweat as a force multiplier. You got 100 mil towards that. But now you go put the same amount of money on our offense. We got something. We're cooking, bro. We're cooking.
Of course, and I think
Yeah.
that's how most teams stay competitive. They build around the trenches, and then you build inside out. That's how your Philadelphia Eagles are created and have sustained success. That's how your 49ers are able to have sustained success. That's how you look at your Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, they had that one Super Bowl against Tampa Bay. They got whooped and beat up in the Super Bowl in the trenches, and they went out and spent big money, and they were right back in the championship game, and I believe they won that year too. So you got to spend money on the trenches because it all starts at the line of scrimmage, no matter if you're on offense or defense.
And can you tell everybody really quick about what we were talking or you were talking about on your show? Like, there's been some division with folks. You said it really eloquently, and I am not going to try to repeat you because you did a really good job about what you're saying about the whole Fields versus Williams and who we get type thing, and just kind of like everybody chill.
Yeah, you just got to take it for what it is, man. If you're talking about Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, hey, you can have your opinions, but there's no point of sitting there criticizing and calling people out their names just because they had the viewpoint to want to stick with Fields and see him have a great shot at being a quarterback. Because if you look at Justin Fields' situation, you have Matt Nagy, who was in charge at first, who never really gave Justin Fields a fair shot. He didn't even have him a playbook made or fit to his skill set that was made for Andy Dalton at the time. And you just want to have that. But then when you look at Caleb Williams, there's going to be some people that come at what he's been doing, the dresses and, the painted nails and things like that, or, the crying on the sideline. But at the end of the day, can the man play football? Yes, he can. Does he need to polish up on some things? Absolutely. But he is a college quarterback. Just about every single quarterback that comes out of college needs some polishing up. Joe Burrow, who had one of the greatest college seasons ever, came in to his rookie season and he looked bad. And then he started to get going, and then he eventually got hurt and had to miss some time. So it's all about the name of the team, man. We are Bears fans. We can have our favorites, absolutely, but there is no point of sitting here, going back and forth with some of your fans and calling people out their names and getting hyped up. Make your point. If you want Justin, you do. If you want Caleb, you do, and leave it at that. That's pretty much what it comes down to me. Have your opinion and stand on it, and you shouldn't have to go and create 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 tweets to justify your position. That's just how I look at it.
Well, and it doesn't matter how many we do, Bobby. At the end of the day, whatever you and I say don't amount to a hill of beans when it
Right.
comes down to polls. Ain't going to be like, hold on, let me see what Brandon said. Let me see what
Right.
Bobby said before I make the decision.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, it was a pleasure having you on the show, man. As good as always, and
Oh, yeah.
you and Hayes and C-Dub, man, you guys do a great job over there. Can you tell everybody real quick again where to find you and where you're at?
Yeah, for sure. First thing first. Thanks for having me on, Brandon. It's great to work with you.
You too, man.
Chop it up. Definitely, if you need me on, you can have me on whenever. Just let me know if time permits. We gonna talk some football. But
Yeah.
you guys can find me on all social media platforms at Chicago Bears Central. And if there are any Bulls fans out there, I have my own Bulls channel at Shy Bulls Podcast with me and C-Dub. I love what I do. It's talking about my favorite teams. It is what it is.
It is what it is, man. Oh man.
What up? What up?
Again, yeah. Hey, you got a couple shout outs here. Leroy Pinky, he's on our show. He runs Thursday nights, man, does a great job. He said, "What's good, Bobby?" He's a big fan of yours. So.
What's up? Thanks for having me, man. I'm always willing to come on and talk sports with cool people. I always tell people, man, look, I don't care how many followers you got. I don't care. None of that stuff matters to me. If you're trying to build this network, Chicago, we need to lock in right now as a collective. It's too much negativity going on with the Justin and the Caleb stuff. Let's lock in and be the best content creators we could be for the city, for the teams that we love. There's no hate over here for me.
Yeah. What do you got behind you, man? You got so much stuff going on, man. I feel like I need to.
On this side, I got all my Funko Pops that were given to me from one of my friends, who's no longer with us. Rest his soul. Then I got, this is another gift from him. This is a football that my mom got me on Christmas, signed by Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher. So that's Brian Urlacher and that's Lance Briggs' signature.
That's awesome.
Then I got some stuff right there from when I visit Puerto Rico for the first time. I got my coaching stuff when I coach flag football. Been coaching flag football for 5 and 6 year olds for 3 years now. So that is, that's me, the short, almost the same height as the kids.
That's so cool.
Almost the same height as the kids. And then some other memorabilia from my military days and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what's in the background. Just showing off who I am as a person and showing my love for my teams. That's it.
Love it, man. Yeah, I love. Hey, thank you for your service, Bobby. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep. So, hey, man, thanks again for answering the call. And I'm going to take care of some household stuff before we leave, but we're going to go ahead and let you get to it, buddy.
All right, man. Thanks for having me, Brandon. Anytime. I'm pretty sure we will be working. So thank you, man. Shout out to you, Leroy. Let's go ahead and continue to work, man. Let's continue to build this thing out. Hey, it's all about what we love, and that's the Bears and Chicago sports, baby.
Hey, like you say, how do you guys say it?
Chi-town up and bear down, baby.
Yeah, you got it. All right, man. See ya.
All right, thanks for having me, man. Catch you soon.
Yep. All right, see you. So we want to get into just give a big special shout out and thanks to El Bandito Yankee Tequila, our sponsor over at Underdog Fantasy, British Scoreboard, Serendipity, Ice Cream Parlor, Worth Stadium Club, Budget Cars. We just want to thank all of them for their love and support and helping us out. It's just all the time and everything that they've done for us, man. It's great guys. And gonna have a clip here for them pretty soon where we're gonna get some really good commercials going and get our sponsor game up. So we're working on that in the on the sidelines, got that working. Cleats helping us out with that, so I'm really excited. Next Sunday we're going to have Curtis Conway. He wasn't able to make it with us tonight. He had his daughter play softball, and she is a beast. He said when they started the tournament ball, he was a little nervous because his wife, Ali, Miss Ali, she is Leia. She's on a business trip, and usually she'll take care of something like that on a Sunday. But he's doubling down on his daddy duties for his son and his daughter. But his daughter, she plays every position on that softball field, and he said that once they start playing,
that he doesn't know when he's going to go home, because that tournament can just, the more you win, the more you play. So, and they just kept winning. He goes, I can't do it this tonight. He goes, how about next Sunday? So next Sunday, 7 p.m. Central, we're going to have Curtis Conway. He's number 5 out of top 100 Chicago Bears. He's on the NFL Network, on the Pac-12 Network. Real excited to have him on. Great guy. Speedster, 97 percentile with a 4.3. In his combine, really fast human being, and very nice gentleman too, and real excited to have him on. So I can't wait to have him on and unpack all that stuff with you guys. So thanks again for joining us and being able to go over the combine and everything with you guys, all the way from day 1 to day 4, where my offensive line shined. And again, keep fighting like Steve Mongo McMichael, all the way to Canton, Ohio. Keep fighting to the Hall of Fame like he does, with everything you got. Have a good night.